So, what if you could hire an employee that works 24/7, never gets tired, and get this, costs just a fraction of a traditional hire? Yeah, it sounds a little bit like science fiction, I know. But today, we're actually looking at the blueprint for building exactly that, your very own autonomous AI employee. And this isn't just about some other app. The whole idea here is to put your life and your business on autopilot. Now, that is a huge promise, right? So let's actually dig in and see how it's supposed to work. First things first, we got to reframe how we think about this. Forget about seeing this as just another piece of software. It's way more like hiring a new member for your team, except this one works around the clock, never needs a coffee break, and is built from the ground up to completely transform your productivity. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how is this any different from the AI tools we're all using right now? Well, we're talking about a massive leap forward here, moving away from a simple, reactive chatbot to a genuinely proactive business partner. And really, this all comes down to a totally new way of thinking. For a while now, we've been focused on prompt engineering, figuring out the right words to type into a box to get a good answer. But we're moving past that now into what's called agent engineering. We're not just asking questions anymore. We're designing an autonomous worker to go out and achieve goals for us. Just imagine this for a second. You wake up on Monday morning, and there's a CEO briefing already waiting for you in your inbox. Your AI has spent the entire weekend auditing your business, it's reviewed transactions, it's analyzed tasks, and it's put together a full report on revenue, pointed out bottlenecks, and even made some proactive suggestions. See? That's not a tool, that's a partner. So what about the money, the economics of all this? This is where things get, well, honestly, a little bit wild. When you start thinking of an AI as an employee, you start evaluating its cost and value in a completely different light. I mean, just look at this comparison. A traditional full-time employee versus a digital one. The availability? It jumps from 40 hours a week to 168. The time it takes to get them up to speed, it's instant. And the consistency, it's pretty much perfect. These aren't small incremental improvements. These are absolute game changers. And when you look at it visually like this, the difference is just staggering. A typical human employee works, about 2,000 hours a year? Your digital employee works almost 9,000. It's always on, it's always ready to go. So, what's the bottom line? Here it is. When you factor in everything, the cost savings per task can be as high as 90%. That's the kind of number that makes you sit up and take notice, right? Okay, so how does this thing actually work under the hood? It can seem really complex from the outside, but the architecture is surprisingly intuitive once you break it down into three simple parts: how it perceives the world, how it reasons about it, and then how it takes action. The easiest way to think about it is like a person. It has a brain, that's a big AI model like Claude that does all the thinking and reasoning. It's got memory. Think of it as a local notebook, like an Obsidian vault, where it stores everything it learns. It has senses. These are simple little scripts that watch for things like a new email or a message. And finally, it has hands, servers that can actually perform actions, like clicking buttons or sending emails, letting it interact with the world. And there's this one clever piece of engineering to make sure it doesn't just give up on a hard task. It's called the Ralph Wiggum pattern. Basically, it's a stop hook, a little loop that forces the AI to keep trying and iterating on a task until it is verifiably 100% complete. It just prevents it from stopping halfway through. All right, let's put all those pieces together. We're going to walk through a real-world example to see how these parts all click into place during a typical day. So let's say a client sends you a quick WhatsApp message asking for an invoice. A watcher, one of the senses, picks this up and alerts the brain. The brain understands the request, it creates a whole step-by-step plan, drafts the invoice in the email to go with it, and then it just waits. Which, of course, brings us to the biggest, most important question of all. With all this power, all this autonomy, can you actually trust it to act on its own without making some kind of catastrophic mistake? And the answer is a resounding yes, because you are always in charge. The whole system is built with a critical safety mechanism that keeps the human, you, firmly in the loop for any sensitive action. This is what's called the human-in-the-loop workflow, or HITL. And it's pretty simple. For anything important, like sending an invoice or making a payment, the AI doesn't just do it. Instead, it creates an approval file and sticks it in a pending folder. It will only, and I mean only, execute that action after you, a human, physically move that file to the approved folder. You always give the final command. Now, the good news is that building one of these isn't an all-or-nothing kind of deal. The beauty of this framework is that you can scale up its abilities over time. You start simple, and then you grow into full autonomy. You can start off small, at what's called the bronze tier, with an assistant that just helps manage your local files. Then you can level up to silver by giving it hands, the ability to interact with the outside world, all while keeping you in total control with that critical, human-in-the-loop workflow. And then there's the gold tier. This is where it all comes together. We're talking about a truly autonomous employee. It integrates directly with your accounting software, it can manage your social media, and yep, it generates that automatic weekly CEO briefing we talked about earlier. At this point, it becomes a core part of your day-to-day operations. But let's be absolutely crystal clear about one thing. No matter how smart or autonomous this thing gets, it is your tool. It acts in your name using your credentials. And at the end of the day, you are responsible for its actions. So that human oversight, it isn't just a nice feature, it's a fundamental requirement. And that really brings us to the final and most fascinating question. As these autonomous agents start to handle more and more of our daily grind, the choice of what to do with all that newfound time and focus, well, it falls back on us. So the real question is, what will you choose to do?